Hey people, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another episode of Albums Ranked. We are ranking number 14. We're doing episode 14 today, and today we're doing the complete opposite of what was episode 13, being Belphegor, dark, evil, Satan, good fun. Today we're doing the complete opposite, and we're doing the pioneers of symphonic power metal, and that is Rhapsody / Rhapsody of Fire. Now, for people who are aware of the Rhapsody world, there are a lot of Rhapsodies around. They are all, they're not all the same band, but they all have, the same members in and out of different things. But I'm not tackling every single Rhapsody album that exists. This would be like, an hour longer video if we did that. So we're just going to tackle the main, the group that was once Rhapsody and then halfway through changed their name to Rhapsody of Fire. That's all. It covers 14 albums. That's 13 studios plus one EP. We're going to chuck one EP in amongst this ranking. Now, I don't normally do that, but seeing as how the EP is coincided with the storytelling that Rhapsody do with their albums, I had to include it, and it's one of my favorites, so that's why it's included. But yeah, so we got 14 albums to get through in total. So yeah, before we crack on though, let's just have a tiny little bit of a bio. So Rhapsody were formed under the name Thundercross back in 1993, which is a fun name, by lead guitar player Luca Turilli and keyboard player Alex Starapoli. Yeah, it's a great name. Sounds like a spaghetti. Pure Italian masterminds, these guys. Guitar player and keyboardist, and they proceeded to give us literally the most epicest power metal that you've ever heard. Now, if anybody knows me personally, they know that I'm an absolute slazzer for power metal. The more epic, the more I fiend for it. So back in like 2013, I think it was, when I first heard this band, I died on the floor. It showed me what fantasy metal was. It showed me concept albums, maybe, I'm not sure, going back a ways now, but it showed me also my earliest probably of classical playing, I think. But yeah, like I say, they're just the world's most epicest power metal band, and the singer Fabio is just beyond amazing. Everyone in this band shines. They're like next level Dream Theater. It's just insane. So yeah, enough of that. Let's get straight into the rankings, starting with number 14. So kicking off at number 14 is unfortunately the latest album that came out on the 26th of November just last year, 2021. Number 14 is Glory for Salvation. And the probable only reason for this album being quite low, or I say the lowest, is because it's so new. It hasn't had time to sink in, I suppose. I'd never listened to this album prior to this ranking, and which is weird because again, for those who are familiar with Rhapsody, know that the legendary Fabio singer and the whole band on this album and the one before it is virtually changed. It's literally everybody different, minus the keyboard player, Alex, who's the founder. So it almost feels like a new band, but they still shine amongst the power metal gods. The album is still so full of epic moments like a Rhapsody album should be. Like, the opening, Son of Vengeance, is pretty damn cool. It punches you in the face. I remember that one being cool. Eternal Snow was nice. Teriel the Hawk, I think I remember liking that one, if I'm getting the songs right. Like I say, I only listened to it like one and a bit times, and just, yeah, concluded that unfortunately it has to go at the bottom because it's just so new, and I haven't listened to it for like 10 plus years like the others. So Yeah, but I'll Be Your Hero, Magic Signs, and Chains of Destiny, they are still good songs on first listen. They're like, oh, cool, that's, it's still epic power metal. And another thing that I didn't know, so when our key members split, I'll explain more about this later. When our key members split, the end of the saga, kind of when the saga finished, there were a few albums in the middle that didn't have a saga, and now they've started another one with the last two albums that have come out. So that's hopefully will be, in future albums, hopefully they'll continue to be better than that random middle chunk where it was just like, solo, not solo, you know what I mean? Albums that were alone albums, they weren't part of a major story. But yeah, enough of that. Number 14 is Glory for Salvation. Now, number 13 is an album that I literally briefly just mentioned, being one of those middle chunk albums that aren't part of any brutal 5-album saga like the others are. Number 13 is Dark Wings of Steel, released in 2013, so it's nearly coming 10 years old now. But like I said, I'm an absolute fiend for power metal and all things epic. So these albums aren't good. No, these albums aren't bad. I don't know why I said that. These albums are still pretty damn amazing. Like, if this is the first Rhapsody album you've heard, it's still going to be pretty awesome. It's, it's still going to kick you in the face, and there's still going to be really awesome technical playing and symphonic sounds. I feel like the keyboard on this album, though, is a bit over the top. It's very, is synthy the word? I don't know. But yeah, it's quite a basic album though in terms of everything that comes before it, but still, it's still really, really cool. I remember hearing this when it came out, and yeah, Rising from the Tragic Flames, that's a really cool song that's got some low choirs in it. And then my favorite song, Angel of Light, which is weirdly basic for a Rhapsody song. If you listen to it versus others, you'll understand what I mean. Fly to Crystal Skies, My Sacrifice, and A Tale of Magic. That's a cool song. That's a cool opening riff. I really like A Tale of Magic. And then you've got the album title track, Dark Wings of Steel, the song. And that's pretty cool. That's quite a heavy one. And but yeah, in terms of epic rhapsody-ness, we'll call it, it goes in at number 13. So yeah, that's where that sits. Number 12 is an album that I was actually quite blown away by, but still obviously didn't quite make it to the top. Number 12 is Into the Legend, the album that comes after Dark Wings of Steel. This is Fabio's last album, the singer, before the singer changed, and which was really, really, horrible to find out, because it was just like, oh great, another key amazing member of this epic band is gone. And also the drummer as well. This is the drummer's last album too. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay, everyone's kind of packed it in, But I mean, a bit like Dark Wings of Steel, this album is still okay. It's still pretty good. There are some heavier songs on this one. Like there is some more speed metal stuff on it. The playing on it is pretty intricate, and it's so technical. Robbie, I think his name is, the guitar player. He does Roberto, or whoever it is. I don't know. Yeah, Roberto. Sorry. Yeah. His playing is out the gate. It's just all over the place. It's so cool. Songs like Distant Sky, I remember liking that when it first came out. That was really cool. Into the Legend, I remember hearing and thinking, oh, yep, I like this. Winter's Rain is sort of like a ballady type song, but it's kind of cool. I like Voice in the Cold Winds. That's cool. And then you get to the second half of the album, and there's it sort of almost blends together. Like all the songs start kind of sounding the same. These albums are quite long. If you're used to 40-minute albums, these all crack in at an hour, because the last song, most of the time, like on this album, the last song goes for 17 minutes, The Kiss of Life, which is a cool song. The ending chorus is pretty powerful, and that's pretty important to me. If you're going to make me listen to a 17-minute song, the ending chorus needs to be pretty damn epic. And it provides, it's nowhere near Gargoyles, Angel of Darkness, or what else is out there? you know, it's nowhere near the Wizard's Last Rhymes and all those other great long epics, but it's still okay. But yeah, that's why it's at this number. Is it number? I keep forgetting what number. I can never remember. Is it number 12? Yes, number 12. Into the Legend. Okay, so now this next one might shock you. This is a personal taste. I think this one is kind of high regarded in amongst the Rhapsody fans. I don't blame them. It's pretty epic, but unfortunately for me, it's number 11, and that is the sophomore album, Symphonies of Enchanted Lands. I know. Quit your moaning. Here's why. The first half is absolutely fantastic. This album has one of their more epically fun songs, Emerald Sword, obviously. We love Emerald Sword. Everyone loves that song, and I do too. Trust me, it's probably one of the most, one of the most played Rhapsody songs of my listening. But after okay, so you got Epicus Fura, the opener, great, goes straight into Emerald Sword, fantastic song, we love that. Wisdom of the Kings, oh god, it's just getting better and better, really. And then you've got Heroes of the Lost Valley, which is like an interlude song, you could say. You know, it's folk, it's fluty, and then the second half of it, I think, is spoken. You know, it's a spoken narration, and then it goes straight into Eternal Glory, so it's just like, oh yeah. And then that, for me, is kind of where it stops. The epicness. I find the songs that flow after, they are good, and obviously it's epic power metal, so they're still great, but they don't hold my attention as much as the Wisdom of the Kings and Emerald Sword does. I find myself sort of just looking around the room, almost tuning out when they come on. I don't know why. I know how they go and everything. They're okay, but to me, they're just like, it's the second half. It's a whole second half of the album. But it is redeemed, obviously, with the title track, Symphony of Enchanted Lands. That is just 13 minutes of pure power epic metalness. And it's just a complete beautiful piece. It's it's very, very cool. And I think that's got Epicus Fura in it as well. So I think, or does it have? It might have both. I think, has it got a prelude into the Dawn of Victory intro? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But yeah, unfortunately though, that's why that one has dropped all the way down to number 11, is because of that whole second side of the album that just it struggles to hold my attention. But yeah, other than that though, good songs, great album. I think another one, this next one also might shock a few people. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how people regard these albums other than myself. But yeah, number 10 is actually the shirt I'm wearing, and that is The Frozen Tears of Angels. A bit like Symphony. This one, again, struggled to hold my attention. I've got no problem with orchestral metal. It's symphonic metal. That's what we love. That's why we listen to it. Orchestras and whatnot. However, I believe this album is quite heavily orchestra based. Which is fine. That's almost like the change of the name. You've got Rhapsody, who released the first 5 albums, which is more classical playing. You could almost imagine Malmsteen on them to a degree. And then the second half, when it turns into Rhapsody of Fire, it almost becomes it's film score music, like proper film score. 80-piece orchestras and stuff, which is fine. I love Nightwish when they do that, and Rhapsody do it amazingly too. But I don't know. Maybe just coming off the vibes of all the first albums, when you get hit with an album like this, it's sort of like, it's not as heavy, it's more moving, and there's more themes instead. It's like a soundtrack almost. Sea of Fate's a cool song. Reign of Terror. I've loved Reign of Terror since I first heard it, and in a way, that's probably one of the epics, even though it's quite a small song compared to the epics. You've got The Frozen Tears of Angels itself, which is nearly a 12-minute song. And then you've got On the Way to Ainur, which is a 7-minute song. But it's almost like that's the one that we remember. I think, you know, that's the one that's got that album on it. But yeah, Frozen Tears of Angels, that's pretty awesome. Raging Starfire is a simple song, but then what's really cool is the outro song, Labyrinth of Madness, which is an instrumental, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, these songs are still pretty damn amazing. It still makes me sweat, you know, because of how epic it is and the story that they tell. This is the 3rd chapter in the 2nd saga, so yeah. It was fun listening to all of these in order because I got to relive the story again, and yeah, stories again. But yeah, this one comes in at number 10. Yeah, the Frozen Tears of Angels. A bit like Into the Legend, number 9 acts as a surprise. Well, I didn't expect to put number 9 at number 9 because number 9 is the second to last album that was released in 2019, and that is the 8th Mountain. Yeah, this one, I knew a few songs of it, and when I listened to it in its full, I was kind of like, I was quite impressed. Like, I'd heard the singles, Reign of Fury, 7 Heroic Deeds, and Master of Peace. I loved Master of Peace. I thought that was really cool. And but I never really carried on into the album as such, except for March Against the Tyrant. I don't know why, but I always assumed, I don't think I listened to the album, maybe it came on in a shuffle, I'm not sure, but I always assumed that March Against the Tyrant was the last song on the album, because it's a 10-minute song and it's pretty epic. It's easily the best to me. That's one of the best songs on the album. But there's more after that, and it's like, oh, okay. But then you've got Tale of a Hero's Fate, which is the last song and is 11 minutes. So it's kind of like, oh, what made me convinced that that was the last song? I have no idea. Warrior Heart is pretty cool. Warrior Heart has a melody. The melody of that song is used again in March of the Tyrant, which I didn't know, and that was used pretty damn cool. The Courage to Forgive was cool. White Wizard, the legend goes on. These albums are really amazing, and these songs are cool. And as I've read, as I've been reading the Wikipedia pages, like I do, this is the first album for their 3rd saga. Now that they want to tell, something about a Nephilium empire. Yeah, it's Rhapsody at its finest. To be honest, it's just another epically told story, and it's just, yeah, this album was just really, okay. If you were like me, if you loved Rhapsody, but then pretty much gave up when Fabio left, please try out the 8th Mountain. I reckon you'll be quite surprised. Number 8 is From Chaos to Eternity. This album is the final album to feature the main guitar player, and it's pretty. I remember thinking it was okay when I listened to it back then, and it is. It's pretty amazing. It's it's number 8. So you've got Adam Fint. You've got the intro track, which is just again another sort of how do you say? It's an intro track. It's not 100% instrumental, but yeah, the song From Chaos to Eternity is pretty damn cool and really sets up like this. It's does it give off the vibe that you're nearly at the end? Kind of. I think so. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff on here that's not in English, and that's probably what holds it back for me, obviously. But yeah, songs like Ghosts of Forgotten Worlds, how do you say it? Eons of Raging Darkness is cool. I Belong to the Stars is cool, and I like Tornado too. But this one, here's another one that I forgot to mention. The 20-minute album closer of Heroes of the Waterfalls Kingdom, which starts with this Christopher Lee narration, and it's just one of the most epicest storytelling songs in the world. That's an understatement. It's pretty insane. It trips me up whenever I try and talk about it. But yeah, so for a closing album to a saga, it does an amazing job, but it's still kind of lacking in something. I don't know, maybe like the 8th Mountain, I didn't listen to it as much as the others, and that's why it's here and not high up. But that's okay. This album is sort of the end of me. You know, we're crossing over halfway now, so every album from now is pretty. You watch me fiend over it, I swear. But yeah, number 8 is From Chaos to Eternity. Number 7 is the first album that we talk about from the first saga. And in actual fact, I've just noticed, it is actually the first album of the saga. It's the debut. It's Legendary Tales from 1997. This album is amazing. From a debut point of view, you know, it's pretty mind-blowing for a better phrase. It's just what you want from a Rhapsody album, really. And because even though it's the first album, it's weirdly simple in terms of what they're like to a point. But I mean, the lyrics are more straight up. There's, you know, you can read them lyrics, and it's more easy to understand the story that they're telling. I feel songs like Warrior of Ice, Rage of the Winter, that's a really fun song, and one I've always loved for like the last 10 years, Forest of Unicorns. Oh, it's just this fun little 3-minute song of, it's pretty much fairy tales, forest and the unicorn of forests. Forest of Unicorns, rather. You know, you can imagine what that sounds like. It's acoustic guitars, it's female vocals, there's flutes going on. It's so peaceful and so nice. And then you're kicked back in the face with Flames of Revenge. Virgin Skies is cool. Land of Immortals. If you haven't heard Land of Immortals, I highly recommend you get onto that. Lord of Thunder. And then the album closer, Legendary Tales, the title track, is only 8 minutes long. Compared to some other album closers, it's pretty boring. But this one is cool. I love Legendary Tales. I think it's a really, really cool song. And it's a really, really cool album. But seriously, Rage of the Winter is probably my favourite off that one. It's such a fun song, and excluding the solo, quite easy to play. Go watch someone play the solo and you'll know what I mean. But yeah, number 7, Legendary Tales. Number 6 is an album that, again, is very highly influenced from orchestras as opposed to power metal. But it's still pretty damn moving and pretty powerful, and that is Triumph or Agony. This album is damn good. Like, I know I'm saying all this a lot. I'm sounding very repetitive, but I swear it's so good. Triumph and Agony is a very, very beautiful album. It's very powerful. It's just very, very moving. It's so cool. It starts with an opening called Darkunor, which I think is where they're going. Is that right? Yeah, it's like a mountain. Is it a cave? I think Darkunor's a cave. Yeah. Just so good. The song Triumph or Agony, always loved that song. It sucks that this album's not on Spotify, but oh well, YouTube's a thing, thank God. Heart of the Darklands is fun. Old Age of Wonders is really nice. That's like, it's more folky. It's got like a folky kind of bounce to it, if you know what I mean. Silent Dream, Bloody Red Dungeons. I always liked Bloody Red Dungeons. It's definitely more, I would use the word triumphant. It's very majestic. It's just powerful. I can't think of another word other than powerful. But what makes this album, you know, pretty much high up there for me was track 10, The Mystic Prophecy of the Demon Knight. 17 minutes of just epic fun, really. I remember I used to listen to that song on the way to work when I was young, and because the song's so long, I could never finish it on the way. The chorus sings about them going to Darkunor, and then the final chorus sings about them coming out of Darkunor. So I would get to work midway, stop the song, and then on the way home, when I drive, I would listen to the continuation of it, and it would be like, hooray, now I'm out. It would feel really, really cool. But yeah, Son of Pain, beautiful power ballad. You need to have power ballads when you've got Fabio as your singer. Literally, such a great album. If you haven't heard this, I would highly recommend Triumph and Agony for a quicker version, and The Mystic Prophecy of the Demon Knight. That's just, that in itself is amazing. And if you don't have time for the whole 17 minutes, there's a 4.5 minute edited version called A New Saga Begins. Try that out. But yeah, number 6, Triumph or Agony. Number 5 is the EP. Number 5 is A Cold Embrace of Fear, a dark romantic symphony. And I had to include this one because, one, it's a key, vital part to the story, and even it's a 35-minute EP, which to some people is a full album. It's 7 tracks, which again is, to some people, a full album. There's only 4 songs on it, and I had to own it. It's the only Rhapsody album that I physically own. I unfortunately only own the EP, so that's another reason why I had to include it, because it played such a big part in my Rhapsody listening. But yeah, a bit like the Mystic Prophecy from Triumph and Agony, the Ancient Fires of Harkoon is another 15-minute song, and that song alone is why this little EP is all the way up at number 5. It's just wow. It's one of the most epicest. It's one of the most epicestly written songs in the world, and it's just great. I just love it so much. It's a mixture of metal and symphony and narration. You know, it's got everything in it. This album is essentially one long orchestral piece, divided up into, you know, movements and motifs and phases like most epic symphonies are. There's 7 acts, you know, but yeah, like I say, only 3 at the most are actual songs. You've got the Ancient Fires, which is epic. You've got Neve Rosso Sangue, which is Blood Red Snow. It's not in English. And then Arian's Lost Secrets, which is sort of like Harkoon Part 2. Sort of. It's like a shortened version of it, but it's still its own song and it's just repeating movements, but it's so good. Oh my God. I would highly recommend you listen to this EP, even though it is an EP, it's still damn good. The Cold Embrace of Fear, number 5. The next album from number 4 is an album that you think would be an EP, but it's not. It is Reign of a Thousand Flames, and it is portrayed as, you know, Rhapsody's 4th full-length album, even though it's virtually the same length, like in total, and it's got the same amount of songs. It's got 7 songs on it as Cold Embrace, but yeah, this album, really, really cool. It definitely steers away from the happy side of power metal. It sort of like it takes a dark twist, and I think tells the story from the dark side of the story. I think I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. Well, I mean, anyway, with a song like The Reign of a Thousand Flames, the little opener, that's an epic song. It's only a 4-minute song. And then it goes into A Deadly Omen, which is this, what do you call it? Instrumental of piano and just really nice. And then you get kicked in the face with Queen of the Dark Horizons, which is a 13-minute song. And I love that song. It's brutally heavy. It's kind of dark. I think there's swearing in that song. So yeah, it's an evil song, but it's still epic and power metal, obviously. Tears of a Dying Angel, Eleanor's Magic Valley, and the poem's Evil Page. They're kind of like one song together. They kind of have the same feel and movement in them, and they all morph into The Wizard's Last Rhymes, which is this epic song, which is based on the New World Symphony by Antonin, however you say it, Dvorak. That was a brilliant piece of music. Just the 4th movement, the New World Symphony. But yeah, again, 40 minutes of pure epic power and put into 7 songs, just done amazingly, to be honest. It's just so good. Highly recommend you check this one out. Number 4, Reign of a Thousand Flames. Number 3 for me is the last album of the first saga, and that is album 5, Power of the Dragon Flame. Firstly, that album name, and that album cover. I mean, these album covers, that's what stand Rhapsody out more than anything, is just look at the way they design their records, man. Oh, so good. Yeah, this album's from 2002, and like I say, it's the last album in the first Emerald Sword Saga. Yeah, so albums 1 to 5 is the Emerald Sword Saga. And this album is just such an epic album. It's much more epic than From Chaos to Eternity, which ended the other one, the other saga. But anyway, In Tenebrae, I think is how you say it, is a fantastic little opener. Knight Rider of Doom, love Knight Rider of Doom. Power of the Dragon Flame, fantastic song. It's got that's got the most. What I love about that song is the fact that weirdly enough, all it is for me is they just repeat the chorus. They don't key change it, but the only thing, like, instead of whole noting the chords, they trem pick them and the drum double bass kicks off, and I don't know, it's just such a powerful ending to that song. The March of the Swordmaster is sort of folky, but it's kind of heavy at the same time. When Demons Awake and Agony Is My Name act as these two pretty evil side-by-side songs, you know, they sound pretty dark. Lamento Eroico, which is this Italian power ballad for Fabio to really show off his voice. Still Gods of the Apocalypse is just epic. I know I've said it that many times, but it is. And then The Pride of the Tyrant, that's a great song too. I think that's up there as well with epic endings. That song has an epic ending to the chorus, and just how they do that is just great. But then the album shuts off with Gargoyles, Angels of Darkness, which is another 19-minute album closer to end the saga, and it's broken up into 3 parts. Some beautiful acoustic classical playing, and then some heavy metal in the middle, and then some insane sweep arpeggio picked, which I've been learning for 10 years and to this day still can't do it. But it's just, by the time you end that song, that is the Lord of the Rings Return of the King moment when you finish that film. You are at the end, and it's just like, thank God, it's over type vibe, you know? But yeah, number 3, Power of the Dragon Flame. Just holy damn, I'm exhausted just talking about it. That's how epic it is. Number 2, I think would be most people's number 1, and I totally get why, but I mean, hey, that's what rankings are. Number 2 is Dawn of Victory. I love this album so much, and it's just probably the most catchiest power metal album I've ever heard in my life. All the melodies are so upbeat, and just it's just wow. Lux Triumphans acts as probably the best album opener I've ever heard, ever. Orchestrally and heavy metal-y. It's just so good. And the way it morphs and hypes you up and then just dives straight into the Dawn of Victory song, it's just, yes. And you're just so ready for 49 minutes even, of what this album's about to bring you. Triumph for My Magic Steel, I love that. That's got a really cool section in the middle that I love. Sort of reminds me of a Glory Hammer type vibe, which is probably where they got it from personally. Village of Dwarves, a slower one. Well, I say slow, it's not a ballad, but it's just a slow tempo song. Real fun. Dargor, Shadow Lord of the Black Mountain, has, probably one of the funnest melodies ever. It's just so great. The Bloody Rage of Titans, Holy Thunder Force. That's the song. That's a good song. That song's got a video, and it's just, that's a fun one. Trolls in the Dark. I love Trolls in the Dark. It's like a 2-minute instrumental of just chaos, really. It's sort of like Labyrinth of Madness from Frozen Tears, but, a bit more fun. Last Wing Unicorn is cool. And then the epic Mighty Ride of the Fire Lord, which is the last song and the epic closer. But to me, I think it's the weakest song. It's, I would have put, song-wise, Dargor would be a better closer. But, hey, that's my opinion on that song. Yeah, it's just such a beast of an album, and most people who play power metal probably rank this one as the definition of power metal, epic symphonic power metal albums. It came out in 2000, so it's over 20 years, but it's still so good, and some of the best playing I've ever heard on a metal album ever. It's so good. Highly recommend you go check Dawn of Victory out. Which can only mean that number 1 is the last album where they were known as Rhapsody, and that is Symphony of Enchanted Lands 2, The Dark Secret Saga. So this is the first album to begin the second saga, and honest to God, this was the first album I ever heard in its entirety way back when, and it's got the first song I ever heard, which is Unholy Warcry, and when I saw the video of Unholy Warcry, I saw Christopher Lee on the TV wearing a Burger King crown, and I just thought, what is this? What am I about to witness? And thankfully, I didn't turn it off. Unholy Warcry still acts as top 5 greatest Rhapsody songs of all time, I reckon. This album is pretty much what I wanted to base my next stage of guitar playing on. To me, there is not one bad note on this album. It is just incredible. Everything from the Dark Secret intro to which is the orchestral album opener, all the way down to the choirs on Nightfall on the Grey Mountains. I swear it is so good. Most of my inspiration for the book I wrote came from this album. Honestly, Never Forgotten Heroes, track 3, absolutely perfect. Algard's Green Valleys, 2 minutes of pure flute fun. You can hear a little village in the background. The Magic of the Wizard's Dream, depending on what version you hear. There's a version without Christopher Lee. There's a version with Christopher Lee. They're both fantastic. Arian's Mystical Rhymes, a 10-minute song in the middle of the album just to, I don't know, show that Epic is still around. The Angel's Last Call has just got this awesomely fun opening little riff. Dragonland's Rivers is a bit more slow. It's one of the more slower songs in the album. But don't stress, because we've got the Sacred Power of Raging Winds coming on next, which is another 10-minute song, and it's got Christopher Lee chanting in some language. I don't know what language it is. Guardiani del Destino, which translates to Guardians of Destiny, which is this Italian... it's not acoustic, but it's like acoustic picked song. Great. Shadows of Death, which has this awesome... intro of horns, and it's just great. And then Nightfall on the Grey Mountains acts as this perfect way to end the album, because it's like, cool, our heroes have done all this, and now the album ends with them going to sleep on a mountain, and we can't wait to carry on, really. So yeah, everything about this album is great. And if, like, you know, I would probably recommend every album up till number 8 probably, but I would definitely say go listen to this one before anything else. And yeah, it's just amazing. I love this album. Symphony of Enchanted Lands 2, The Dark Secret, easily comes in at number 1. I knew it was going to be number 1 before I even did this ranking, but yeah, that's number 1. Awesome as team, well done. We got to the end of the epic Rhapsody of Fire symphonic power metal ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I had a weirdly, thoroughly fun time shouting at the camera, trying to portray these epic powerness to you. Yeah, if you're a Rhapsody fan, let me know which one's your favorite, and you know, tell me why. Like always, really. Yeah, I'm so happy that got done. Like always, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want, if you'd be keen for me to do someone in particular, hit me up. I'll see if you'll see, you know, who knows, I might do it, I might not, I might just, yeah, who knows. The typical ending stuff. So yeah, all that fun stuff. Like the video if you liked it, obviously. If you didn't like it, oh well. I'm not going to believe you, because if you've gotten this far, you probably liked it. So yeah, but hang out for another ranking. I know already, I think I've got my next 2 lined up, I think, in my head. So yeah, hopefully they won't take forever to come on. But like always, until that happens, stay inside, stay safe, wash your hands. And until then, I will see you all again real soon.